Hey good people, welcome back to my channel, Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Kara, and if this is your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I'm really excited about today's video because it is all about duping the Mothership 8 Divine Rose 2 eyeshadow palette by Pat McGrath. So if you want to see if I pulled this off successfully, please continue watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let's get started. So I don't know if you all follow Pat McGrath on Instagram, but lately she's been posting some new inspiration, and one of her hashtags is coming soon. And I'm like, I'm not ready. Like, I am not ready for anything by Pat McGrath. Like, I am still riding this wave, okay? One of the pictures she showed, look at this. It's like, I don't know if you can see it, it's like a blue burst. That's the first one. And I was just like, are you teasing us with something blue? And it says Birth of a Star, inspiration coming soon. So I'm like, okay. Then she has this picture of these mountains with this rainbow river. Look at this. Y'all see that? I can't right now. My heart. There are two things that I just have set aside money for so that whenever it happens, I'll be able to get it right away. One thing is Beyonce tickets. Like, if Beyonce is coming out, you know, she surprises us with stuff. It's like, you have to have a little cushion right there so that you're not playing around when her tickets go on sale, because it's a whole event. And it's the same thing with Pat McGrath now for me. It's like, I have to add a fund to my Beyonce fund. I have to add Pat McGrath to that fund, because you know how it is when her stuff launches, it's gone. It's gone. So I'm like, I don't know if this is some surprise thing. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if I'm making it up. I don't know if I'm just seeing what I want to see. All I know is I saw it coming soon, and I was like, how soon is soon? That's what I need to know. All right, so get into the topic of this video. Many people love the Divine Rose 2 palette. I've gotten a lot of comments saying, you know, I love these tones. These tones are just so beautiful. But $125 really is a hefty price tag. It really is, especially if you're not into makeup like that, or it's just something that you wear once in a while, or you're not a Pat McGrath fanatic, or you're not a collector. That's a lot of money to spend. And you know, for the price of one Pat McGrath palette, you could get several others. Now, I will say that Pat McGrath's eyeshadow formulas are really, really nice, and she has more affordable palettes. Actually, right now, she has some singles that are on sale on the Sephora website. And if you are interested in just trying out her formula and seeing what it's like, they are $12.50 right now. And usually one eyeshadow single is $25. So if you're interested in trying Pat McGrath, I think that would be the way to go. And she also has these two mini palettes. They are $28 for 5 shades, and those are on her website and also on Sephora. So you don't have to go out and get the Mothership palette or even those mini Motherships, because this is a luxury brand. For some, the $125 isn't worth it. I totally get it. So, you know, I probably have messed up priorities. So after I did my dupes video for the Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet palette, it convinced me, like, I don't need that palette. I did need Divine Rose too, but I did want to go in my collection to see if I had any shades that I felt were good dupes for the Divine Rose 2 eyeshadow palette. So with the look that I have on today, one side is Pat McGrath, and one side is comprised of my Dupes palette. What I want to do is swatch the Divine Rose shades next to my Dupes, and I want to know what you think. Now, there is one shade I had to bootleg a little bit, and I'm sure you know which one that is, because that is a shade that I have nothing like. So that's the VR Sextraterrestrial. I really had to do some jerry rigging, as my dad would call it, to get that shade together. So it's bootleg. Let me go over the palettes that I use for the dupes, and then I'll do the swatches. I really want to know what y'all think. First palette, $3 palette right here, okay? I got a shade from this e.l.f. Rosewater palette. That's number one. Number two, Anastasia Beverly Hills and Amrezy. There were several dupes in this one. Number three is the Honey by Colourpop. Number four was by Juvia's Place. It is the Nubian 3 Coral palette. Palette number 5 by Huda Beauty is the Desert Dusk palette. Number 6, another one by Huda Beauty, is the Nude palette. And last but not least, where the bootlegging comes in, is another Colourpop palette. It's the Just My Luck palette. So I use 7 different eyeshadow palettes. What I love about this activity is that it makes me go through my collection so I don't forget about the stuff that I have, because when I pulled out that green one, I was like, I need to do a look with this. I haven't used it in so long. So this is just all fun. Okay, I never get tired of showing this, so let me just show this friend here. Man, this is beautiful. Like, and I feel like my lights are bright. I'm trying to get this color right. And I'm filming this at night, so I'm still working with my setup. What I'm gonna do is I'll swatch Pat McGrath first. I'll swatch the dupe next to it, tell you where I got it, tell you the name of the shade. So I'm gonna bring us in close. Hopefully my camera will not struggle with the focusing. All right, shade number 1 for Pat McGrath is Skin Show Rose Opal. My dupe for that comes from Anastasia and Amrezy, and the shade is called Wasted. These shades do have a slight difference, but I think it's very, very slight. I think that Skin Show Rose Opal just has a little more pink. But if you just go like this, it looks the same. Like, sorry. Shade number 2 from Pat McGrath is Naked Blush. Very, very unique. There we have Naked Blush. Dupe for Naked Blush comes from the Juvia's Place Nubian 3 Coral. The shades don't have names, but it is the 9th shade in the palette. I did have a hard time finding something to match this one, but I do think they're pretty close. Shade 3 from Pat McGrath is Eleganza. My dupe for Eleganza comes from my $3 tried and true e.l.f. Rosewater palette. There is not a shade name, but it's the 3rd shade. And that, my friends, is pretty close. Number 4 from Pat McGrath. This one was a very tough one, and I couldn't find an exact match. The shade is Bronze Rose 005. This is one of her special shades, so I already knew that was gonna be a little tricky. The closest shade I had is a shade from the Amrezy palette called Dragon. And like I said, not exact, but pretty close. Like, look at this. I mean, unless you're really analyzing this, these are very close. Shade number 5 from Pat McGrath is Gold Lust 001. And my dupe for that comes from the Honey Colourpop palette. And the shade is Queen Bee. So this is the top row of the Pat McGrath palette. And now we're gonna go to the bottom row. Okay, now we're going to the bottom row. So the first shade in the Pat McGrath palette is Extreme Burgundy. For this shade, I used the Amrezy palette again. This time I used 2 shades, and the shades were Simsa and Yugo. So first I'm gonna swatch Extreme Burgundy. Yeah. Okay. And here are the shades from the Anastasia palette. Now, these shades are hard to swatch. They're matte and they are not the greatest swatches, but here we go. And I think the combination of those 2 shades made it a good dupe, because you can tell this is too like pinky and this is too dark by itself, but putting them together, I think it looks exactly the same. Next we have from Pat McGrath, Divine Dusk. My dupe for that shade comes from the Huda Beauty Nude palette, and the shade is Fantasy. I think Fantasy has a little more of a pink tone. I'm kind of thinking I have something else similar though. Let me see something. I just want to swatch something else really fast. No, I'm gonna stick with, hold on, let me try one more real quick. No, that's not gonna be it. I just want to swatch something else really fast. No, I'm gonna stick with, hold on, let me try one more real quick. No, that's not gonna be it. That's not bad though. Nope. Let me do one more real quick. That's not gonna be it. No, that ain't it. I'm gonna stick with what I said, because I really went through this earlier, but let me just, oh, wait a minute. Oh, let me try this one more time. All right, let me do this one more time. Sorry. Just want to see something. Divine Dusk. Let me try, I'm gonna try Charmed. I'm just checking something out real quick. I think I like Charmed. I'm gonna switch my decision. From the same palette, I'm gonna say the dupe for Divine Dusk is Charmed. I think that Fantasy is a little too pink. Okay, let's move on. All right, next shade, Rose Seduction. Love, love, love this shade. That's the shade I have on my lid from Pat McGrath. Oh, so beautiful. And the dupe comes from Amrezy, and the shade is called Rezy or Rezi. Amrezy. don't know why I keep saying Amrezy. It's one E. That's like spot on. Seriously. Okay, so here's where it was a mess. So VR Extraterrestrial is an issue because it is a duochrome, or actually a trichrome shade. It has 3 different shifts. I don't have anything like that. The closest thing that I had to any type of duochrome shade, I have some Urban Decay singles. None of them fit the bill. So I had to put 2 shades together to try to imitate VR Extraterrestrial, which was kind of funny to me. I don't know why. I thought it was really funny. Right here. So here we have the beautiful, beautiful VR Extraterrestrial. And you see that it's got this pink to green shift. So from the Huda Beauty palette, I first used the shade Kinky. Let's see. So I think that's really close as far as the pink goes, especially right here. Now, when it comes to the green shift, just my luck. We need luck with this. The shade is called Olive You, like I love you. And basically what I tried to do was like swatch it on top. Ay, ay, ay. All right, here we go. Oh, I know this is a mess, but whatever. Okay. So, kind of not really, but I just tried to pick up the 2 shades that were mainly, see when I look at VR Extraterrestrial, I did do a video recently using that shade just all over the lid. And what I noticed was on the inner part, you could see the pink, and then the outer part, you saw a lot of the green. That's probably what I would try to do. I would try to put the pink on the inner and then the green on the outer if I was doing that. All right, so there's VR Extraterrestrial and the dupe, which is Kinky and Olive You. Last but not least, we have Astral Pink Moon. Astral Pink Moon is another one of Pat McGrath's special shades. This one is going to be very hard to imitate. And the reason that I think it is because it's like a glitter. You can wear it by itself, but it's not like a whole lot of color behind it. So I like to use this as a topper. I mean, you can use it by itself on the lid, but it's a really, really nice topper for any of these, for any color. And I took the shade Nefertiti from the Huda Beauty Desert Dust palette. This is the only thing I had that was kind of close. I couldn't think of anything that was gonna be similar. And this shade is not as glittery. It doesn't have the same light reflex, but I definitely think it's close. So there are my dupes. I'm going to now swatch Divine Rose on one arm and then my dupes on the other arm, and then we'll get into the look. Remember, one side is the Pat McGrath side and one side is the dupe side. Let's look at the swatches compared to each other. Okay, I don't know, for some reason my swatching situation was a mess, so I'm standing up now, but here is Pat McGrath. Come on, here we go. All right, here's Pat McGrath. Oops. Okay, and here are the dupes. So, I mean, side by side, it looks like I swatched the same palette twice. Okay, Let me sit there. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun for me to make. If you watched me do the eyeshadow look, this side is Pat, this side is the dupe, and I definitely think they look really close. And I don't think you can really tell. I mean, you would have to be like a Pat McGrath inspector to know the difference in the two eyeshadow looks. Still 100% glad I bought Divine Rose 2. I will still be getting whatever she puts out next. it is just nice to go through my makeup and just remember what I do have. I also hope that I shed some light on some other really good palettes that are out there. I know that collections are launching like every day, but there are some things that have come out this year, last year, that are like oldies but goodies. And hopefully you are seeing that when I am showing you these palettes, and you know, maybe you'll give one of them a try, because there's not a whole lot new that's coming out in my eyes. And I'm not a person that gets caught up on packaging. Like, I'm not gonna say that, that's a lie. I'm not gonna get something solely for packaging though. One thing I'm learning in the beauty industry is that the trends and the launches and the collections, they are literally coming out back to back to back. And some of the things that are coming out have already been done. They've already been done. Maybe not in one total palette, but they've already been done. I think that Pat McGrath is in a category of her own. And regardless of whether or not I can dupe one of her palettes, I would probably still get it. That's just how I feel about that. But there are other things coming out where I'm like, I have that. I have that in a different palette. So I'm definitely gonna do more dupe videos and comparisons of things that I see that I feel like have already been out, because you might own it already. So in any case, that's it. That's all I have. I just thought it would be fun to do. I'm sure there's some other dupe videos on YouTube. I definitely want to check them out and see what other people have come up with. I really thank you guys for watching. I hope you found it entertaining, and I will definitely see you in my next video. Bye.